Shirts, eh? You actually wore that. Eh?
You have to come around here. You streets around here. You're out. Is it okay with makeup? I'm not happy. Little stools. If you move this table, actually. I love you, Mum. Bring the chair around that way. Round this way. This way, yeah, round this way.
Billy's taking me cheat sheet.
How do you get How do you watch this normally?
1,000 last time.
Okay, Dan, just come over this way.
We're being
if you come over this way. Yeah, sorry. Apparently we're live.
It's much easier.
If you look at Sev. I always want the hair and makeup.
Except it's 90%.
Yeah, they're not coming soon.
Cool. No, they haven't seen it.
Sorry, mate. Who's that?
Have costumes in.
Not done your lipstick.
Get forward, move forward.
Right, we've got the beers coming in.
Hutchings gets a throne. What is
We had evening. It's all got a bit madness down there. We've had a couple of hours drinking, so we might be a little bit lively. Evening FANSTAND 2 days before the big match, Brentford versus Orient.
Oh, the mighty Orient.
The mighty
Orient.
Mighty Orient. Yeah. We've got the Orient fans in the house here. We've got the Brentford fans in the house here. We're somewhere in a swanky bar in central London, and we're all excited. We've also got the Mr. Carl Hutchings. Who used to play for both teams, but there's one team that he loves. We won't go on that.
Don't do it, Hutch. Don't do it, Hutch.
Southend United. Listen, everyone, we're going to get around the table. Everyone introduce yourselves and let everyone know out there who you are.
Dan, Leicester B. Sue.
Your first game? What's the vibe?
Oh, right. Well, first actually it was about 93. Well, actually, the first player I remember was Carl Hutchings. First hero was Carl Hutchings, weirdly enough. Really sad. And basically, I'm only here basically to tell people that Brentford are going to win. It's all in the stats. Unfortunately, Matthew Benham, you're out of a job because I do the stats better than you.
Yes.
It's all in here. It's all in here.
Yeah.
I don't reckon you do.
In the corner here.
Yeah, Andrew Shields, not the mighty-os, the almighty-os.
Whoa. Get in, son.
First game, Nottingham Forest Cup tie, 88. We lost 2-1.
Oh.
It's been like that for many, many years, unfortunately, but it won't be like that on Saturday.
Oh. Fighting talk.
Absolutely.
Toby Maxtone-Smith, first game 2001, something like that, against
Juniors.
Who do you support?
I support Brentford.
The mighty Bees.
I haven't missed a game home or away all season.
Whoa, loyal.
Yeah, my first game was 2003, but I'm not optimistic for.
And do you
That's what we like to hear.
Do you always have a pen behind your ear? Is that what
Hey. You're on the interweb and everything.
My name is James Masters, in the Times. I'm fortunate enough to support Orient and Orient. My first game, we lost 2-0 against Swansea. We've been pretty much that bad for the rest of my life until this season, where we decided we could play football. I think this season we've been fantastic. Don't expect that to stop, and I think we'll probably just edge it 2-1 Saturday.
Whoa!
So this is the only decent season in your whole time.
I missed 2006. I was on a coma. Yeah.
I'm Fred Nathan. I'm an Orient fan. I've been going since 1995, but I was only 3 then, so I don't really remember. But my first game I remember was about probably 98, just probably about your era, probably 99 upwards. Yeah. Sorry, yeah, all those 36 games. No, I'm joking. I think I'm going for a draw on Saturday because I think we're going to cancel each other out, 2 good teams, and I'm fairly pessimistic as well, so I'm probably going to weigh these guys down because they are very optimistic all the time.
I am Andy Brown. I am Orient Meat Pie on Twitter, which is what everyone seems to refer to me as. My first game, 83-84, Frank Clark's first season. We got relegated the season after, but I do remember 88-89 promotion, and I went on the pitch at Oxford, have some of that in 2006. It's been a great season. We've had some great seasons under Russell Slade. 2 7th place finishes in the last 3, and it's not stopping this season. So confident for Saturday, but we'll have to see where it goes.
And what are the meat pie?
Well, yeah, there's just that all goes down back to, if you recall, we were voted the worst football food in the country, and it's a little bit of an up yours.
Is your brother sausage roll?
No. Oh. He doesn't bother with any of that. But anyway, yeah. So
I'm Dave Lane, editor of Beesoted. First game, God, makes me feel old. Swansea at home, 1978. Oh. And I wasn't even 3. So yeah, we won rather than a defeat. That was like John Toshak, I think, was playing for them. Steve Highway.
78.
Yeah, old school. Saturday morning, Sky kind of killed it a bit. Early kickoff, not happy about the early kickoff. Quite happy about the boat to Orient.
Yes.
But I would take a draw right now. But I think we're going to win it. I think we're going to go 2-1. 2-1 Brentford. Hutch?
Carl Hutchins made my debut for Brentford in '93. I think Exeter City at home. I'm here today just to keep these guys, stop them from fighting each other. Who am I going to go with though? I've been down to the Bees a couple of times this season, and I must say I think it's probably the best Brentford football team that I've ever seen play at Griffin Park.
Including the team that you were in?
Including the team that I was in, which is quite a statement. So I'm going to say Brentford for promotion this season.
Wait.
Saturday, I'm not quite sure because I haven't got to see Leyton Orient play this season, so I'm going to sit on the fence on that one. But
we're second for a reason. So.
I'm saying Brentford for promotion.
And you play two more games than anyone.
Still second for a reason.
And I'm Billy the Bee Grant, and Brentford fan, Beesoted, right for Beesoted, do videos, have a laugh, been going to Brentford since '79. First game I can't remember, I think it was Huddersfield, just after, a couple of games after Bob Booker scored a hat-trick in those days, and I thought I better pop down to Brentford because it sounds quite good. Love it, home and away, pretty much most games of the season, and we didn't go up last year, but we're going to do it this year. Sorry, Orient.
So Wolves are staying down.
That's right. So listen, we're all a bit tense. We were chatting a bit earlier, and everyone, it's noticeable actually how tense everybody is. Even at the game on Tuesday with the Brentford fans, they were a bit of singing, but a lot of tenseness. And you were talking about the tenseness with yourself as well. I noticed the banter has actually decreased over the last month or so. The banter before Christmas was massive, you know, between Brentford and the Orient, but it's decreased a lot. And we all know that 10, 12 games to go. This is the business part of the season. You've had a couple of games. Talk us through your games the past couple of past week or so.
Yeah. So I was at Port Vale with the Orient on Tuesday night, and yeah, they're actually a pretty good side. They gave us a good game in the first half of the season actually when we beat them 3-2, and that was a tight game. Then they got a lot of energy and pace, and but we defended really well. We got a keeper on loan from Hull, Eldin Jakupovic. Got that right?
Easy for you to say.
Yeah. I haven't had enough to drink yet. Usual spelling of Jakupovic, yeah. Who's kept, in fact, we haven't lost when he's played, so hopefully he'll be playing Saturday. So he's doing a good job for us. And Notts County was a bit of a blip on Saturday. We drew 0-0 against a team fighting for their lives.
Pitch was absolutely disgraced.
Yeah, pitch was disgraced. They packed the midfield. No pressure. I mean, they packed the midfield out. It was a crappy pitch, and that's the way it goes. And
it's the same as any Drip Carlisle, basically. Everyone's got to
So yeah, I mean, but you know, we've won again. We're not losing games, and we're staying in there. And you must be getting sick of the sight of us.
It's getting monotonous. You know, that is, well, you know, it's incessant. It's like the top 3 are just week in, week out.
Good.
Apart from little blips here and there, for the last 3 months, it's just been. Everyone's matching each other. No one's giving up.
Still the league last year.
Well, it's extraordinary. If you look at the points this year compared to Championship or League 2, we're 12 points clear, I think.
Doncaster won the league last year with 84 points. That's not even going to guarantee automatic promotion this year.
It's quite incredible. Somebody could get average 2 points a game this year and not get promoted, which is just insane.
Worrying.
Insane.
I think the word is worrying.
Worrying. Yeah, well, maybe I know we're coming here tonight as sort of rivals, friendly rivals, but you know, are we also united against those common enemies?
And who is the common enemy?
Well, Wolverhampton.
Money bags.
I'm not.
Ooh, get in there!
Money bags. Are you watching?
Let's start early. Let's get the punches in.
Maybe I'm wearing my diplomatic hat tonight.
And not
but
you-
actually,
not you,
wouldn't it
Kip,
be
again.
good if actually the two promoted sides were Brentford and Orient? Not in that order, Orient Brentford.
But you know, we're kind of assuming that
work
Wolves are going to, you know, run away with it now.
Yeah.
You know, we've all had brilliant runs. You know, you had a brilliant run to start with. We had a brilliant run that's only we have one defeat in some ridiculous amount of games. So our run, I say, is continuing. Wolves are in the middle of a brilliant run. There's May finish. So, you know, just because it's looking rosy for Wolves right now, you know,
I disagree with you. I don't think Wolves are going to let up at all.
well, you never know. You
I
never
wouldn't
know.
bank on Wolves for letting up now.
That's
Big
it.
club like that, they've
Run
got the
away with it.
experience, they've got the...
Do they have to play Stevenage though? They always seem to pull up Jimmy Smith things out of the hat, don't they?
Yeah, Jimmy Smith.
Well, you know, or bottom of the table, Notts County, they may only get a draw there.
Lego.
They're at Sheffield United as well.
Well, you're lucky Sheffield United only started winning when they did, because otherwise, I mean, they could have really made a late dash. Yeah. They've been fantastic.
We've got to play them yet.
Well, we've all got to play them. Wolves
We've all
got
got
to
to
play
play 'em,
them.
yeah.
Orient got to play them. Brentford got to play them. So they can still have a huge say in the outcome of this race.
Still can't
And they
win
don't
the
look
league.
like losing. They're going to Preston on Monday, I think, Sheffield United.
They got a cup semi-final to distract them.
We played them the week before.
Yeah, and they played Orient the week before, so nobody want to get injured. Which is a shame, isn't it?
Yeah. So Toby, I mean, Brentford, a couple of matches, a bit nervous, couple of games, but I mean, how do we do?
Well, they were two identical games basically. Bradford and Tranmere at home on the Saturday and the Tuesday. Quite sort of sloppy first half, not really getting into our rhythm. But once we took the lead, we really went through the gears and played some beautiful football. You know, we can't afford a first half like we have done in those last two games for me on Saturday. But you know, if we fluke an early goal at Orient, you know, long shot, defensive error, then I reckon we can.
You've
go.
been thinking about this.
I don't think the Brentford team that I saw on Saturday will fluke anything. I think everything they do is worked on the training ground. They've got fantastic understanding of each other.
Right, it's the best.
I don't think they need to fluke.
Late Orient fluke everything. We haven't scored one goal that wasn't a fluke this year.
We've actually fluked 70-something points.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's a fact.
I know. I saw you beat Stevenage, and one of the goals there was a real.
I think Barry said Little Lane Orient a few too many times. That's the problem. I mean, the thing is, we both played teams. We played Notts County Saturday. You played Tranmere. You played Bradford. We played Port Vale. I mean, Port Vale. I mean, they're pretty much almost in the same positions in the league. So this, you know, we both had a little bit of a wobble, even though you managed to pull out 2 wins from your games and we got a draw. But it's very hard to predict what's going to happen, to be honest, in this game. And everyone in this room, I don't care how much what they say live, but everyone here would take a draw because we know.
Hands up, we take a draw.
Hey.
Hands up.
And that's not. That's
if I were an Orient fan, I wouldn't be taking.
I'd take a Brentford win, I
I
think.
think Orient needs to win this game.
But
Orient needs to win.
yeah, they do. But interesting, Hutchie, because Hutchie went to the game on Saturday. Actually, he went to the. He said he went down the game on Saturday. He's seen a few Brentford games this season, and your analysis. We were talking beforehand about your analysis of Brentford, and obviously about the team now as opposed to the team years ago. And it's interesting because obviously you see a lot of things that us fans don't do. I mean, us fans are like, oh, go and kick him, get the ball up the dome, get up the pitch, and all stuff like that.
Right as well, yeah.
You know, but you've seen the sort of technical side and everything like that. You know, and it's just interesting to see, you know, from a player's point of view, actually, what you know, your exact thoughts on Brentford and the difference between now as opposed to, you know, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago.
Well, I can only speak about from what I've seen this season. I've been down there quite a few times this season, and the teams that I used to play in.
Yeah.
And certainly now, you know, obviously, it's clear to see there's a lot of work going on the training ground. The manager's got fantastic, you know, midfield have got great rotation. The players individually know exactly where they need to be at what times they need to be. There's a lot of free-flowing football going on. And for me, it was just really, really good to see. I was just really impressed with the whole organisation of the whole team. They've got the organisation, but at the same time, they've still got the free-flowing football going on there as well.
So Champions League within 3 years?
I won't go that far. But if the chairman's got the money to pump in, who knows?
But you was interesting as well. You said that you didn't think that you couldn't find a standout player. You thought there was good players.
That was the thing. I thought all around the pitch there were good players. There wasn't any, you know, when I played anyway. Nicky Foster and Bob Taylor were great players. They were, you know, we'd pump the ball forward to them. They would score the goals. Whereas with Brentford, it was more on Saturday anyway, certainly, and this season, from what I've seen, the whole team in general were really good, effective as a team. Yes, you had a couple of really good players, but in general, all 11 players were really playing at a good high standard, including the goalkeeper as well. He was very good.
Going back to the Orient, brilliant start. Bit of a blip at the beginning of the year, which started off with the floodlights gate. I mean, shall we talk about the floodlights, or should we just move on?
Oh, I think
Sabotage.
Better pass over that one. I think we probably all have been playing.
I reckon there'd be a
If we'd,
3-point
if we'd
deduction
well
at some
on
stage for that.
Well, it
We
did,
would- that would
but
have had a
it
massive
didn't benefit us, did it? Because
No.
we ended up losing to Bristol City in the reshuffle.
There you go, cheats
With one of the worst goalkeepers.
Apparently you're supposed to take risks with supporter safety.
Yep.
Have pylons landing on people's heads. You can't have that. Dreadful stuff. Can't have ground safety issues.
Our health and safety.
No.
Gone mad.
I mean, who knows? I mean, the fact is that there are health and safety regulations around the ground. So what are you going to do?
Just go back to your point about the blip.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody
Didn't work
has
out for us, did
said
it?
we're going to do a Tranmere. We're just remembering what Tranmere did last season, and that was the expectation. But we've been saying it, and it's March now, and we're still supposedly going to do a Tranmere.
We've got 8 points more than something like that than Tranmere got
it
the whole
hasn't
last season, so I think that's been put to bed.
I mean, I don't think there's anyone that knows anything about football, especially in League One, that wouldn't sort of say how fantastically well Orient have done. You're a credit to the club, and to keep this up, it's been phenomenal. But you must know you're not going to do it.
What's going to happen on the last day of the season is Marcelo Trotter's going to hit the bar, and we're going to end up going up.
Yeah, he'll hit the bar in the clubhouse after he scored the winner.
Yeah, but
being a smaller club than us, you're going to have lower expectations.
Oh, he's a smaller club.
How long did it take to get there? Anyone on the bingo?
Your record,
Ultimately, your
15
attendances prove it. Your away attendance record are appalling, so you're not as well supported. And obviously, we have got the backing from a budgetary point of view. So, and I'm not going to lie about it. We have got the financial clout in League One to actually make that difference. The attendances prove it as well. So, being a smaller club than us, then your fans basically will have lower expectations. Which is why you're basically saying, oh well, might have low. We may still maybe make the playoffs, etc., and so on, so on. It's a bit of a sort of like false sense of security.
But I'd rather have low expectations be a constant disappointment, which is what Brentford are.
Oh yeah,
Well,
definitely.
not really, because if I was really genuinely disappointed, I wouldn't still support Brentford. But Brentford's in your blood.
If you're a masochist.
Which he is.
Which, yeah.
I think everyone's a masochist who's sitting here. Let's be honest.
Anyone that supports a League One club has got to have that
Brentford now
trait.
is our destiny. It
It's
really
your
is.
destiny, just like it was against that small
Yeah,
club
but
called Yeovil.
that's what I mean. This whole small club, but people forget this, right? Orient spent a lot of time in their history, right, in what's now the Championship, right? But okay, they were pretty bad in the 90s, spent a lot of time in the bottom division. This whole idea of small club, it goes on all the time on social media. Everyone's saying, oh, you're such a little club from Doncaster fans or whatever. It's like, oh yeah, we're getting big crowds now, or you've got some money now, but you've been pootling around the bottom divisions for a fair bit of time as well,
Since
right?
the war.
Yeah.
So, I don't like that.
I mean,
look at us, we're on,
I have to admit, when I was growing up, Orient were second tier. They
exactly.
were.
Thank you.
I remember the shirt, and I remember the FA Cup semi-final.
It's history, innit? I mean,
semi-final, quarter-final against Arsenal.
Yeah.
Semi-final.
Semi-final, yeah.
Also, mate, I don't think the fact that we get 1,500 less on the gates every week and 200 less away makes one bit of difference.
Look,
this
I
season.
think
I think it's complete irrelevance. I mean, we're both
Fulham say the same thing.
exactly.
Fulham are a small club, though, aren't they?
They were a small club in our day.
But
when
the
we
thing,
grew up.
They were a small club.
Wigan, same Wigan.
I mean, if you've had investment, there's also more pressure in a way. I mean, we've gradually improved under Slade. Okay, we had a blip, we had one really bad season, but expectations at Orient, there's probably more pressure on you to deliver in a way than there is on us.
Absolutely, immeasurable. That's
Particularly
absolutely.
after last year.
I mean, that's not to say that we don't want to settle for missing out. Nobody does, right? But the fact is that Orient fans are going to get really upset if we mess up. Yeah, of course we are. Well, of course we're going to be gutted. We'd be gutted about that. But at the same time, our expectations were never that high. I mean, we wanted to get into the playoffs this year, and now we're pushing for automatic. And
Whereas,
You know,
to be
whereas
fair-
you guys
to be
must
fair-
be in the back of your mind is always that last season, isn't it?
Well, no, not that in my mind. But I mean, to be fair,
Or the media
I raised
player.
the point. I raised the point to be facetious, just so we can actually talk about the little club, small club. It is a true point though that with Brentford with its bigger budget, that is a fact. And I don't care about the fans. You're absolutely right, and I don't want to enter into that.
Yeah,
So
you're getting
I've got
a new
lot of respect-
stadium and
I've
stuff
got a lot
as
of
well,
respect
yeah.
for Leyton Orient, to be fair.
Yeah.
But we have got the bigger budget. The expectation at Brentford is massive this season.
I think that's more of a
especially after
hindrance.
last
That's
season.
actually more of a hindrance.
And that, in one sense, yeah, could be a hindrance. Having said that, though, we've had the disappointment last season, largely with the same players, largely. And to be honest with you, I think they're better for it. I really do. And I think that this season, that's why I think we'll be able to get over that final hurdle.
No one's ruling
It
it
will
out.
certainly help,
Yeah.
player-wise, having
Yeah,
an
but do you,
experience.
Cole, do you not think that's inbuilt in the Brentford psyche because they constantly choke? You know, this isn't once, this isn't twice. You guys have gone to Wembley and seen them lose, the Millennium Stadium, seen them lose.
Well, it's a different
finals,
Like
you've
we
seen them
have.
lose.
Well,
Is it inbuilt
history
in
is
the
history.
psyche?
When the new manager comes in and new players come in, things change. So,
I don't-
but maybe they do. maybe they
Warburton's
don't.
never dealt with this,
Okay,
has he?
okay. This is a good
That might be a
example.
good thing.
So we had
He's never
a
dealt with it,
we had a
and,
chat.
he's-
We had a chat
he's
with Uwe Rosler before the playoff game last year, and Uwe said, I won't even do the accent, but he basically said, "Don't history,
I'll do it.
history, schmistery. Don't, you know, this is now. This is 2013. You can't cite 2006. You can't cite all these other failed playoffs. This is now, but we still bottled it, and I have to agree. We are a choking club. That's a fact. You can't dispute that.
I mean, the player, I agree with you about the players. They're not talking
as
about, but all the
Carl
fans
says-
are going to be talking about it,
No,
aren't they?
but what you can't dispute now, this probably is the best Brentford team there's been post-war, and you know, football's played on the pitch, and you know we probably are over the Saturday aside, we probably are going to go very very close.
Well, look, I mean,
I'm not disputing that for a second, but I'm saying psychologically, after last season, what happened when you're so close, that's got to be in the back of your mind.
Yeah, but that's last season.
I think that spurred them on though.
I think
If
what
you
James,
go both ways and go
but I think what James means is that as you say, it's all played on the pitch, but in the fans' eyes, if as soon as there's a little inkling that things might be going away, they could turn on the players. And you know, the amount of times you've been at the football where the fans, you know, Molyneux, look at Molyneux, they were one as soon as they weren't winning the match, they were on their backs. I'm not saying you guys, you're probably better than that. You probably wouldn't get on your back. You're close to the pitch. A Griffin Pot, you're close to the pitch. You're close to the pitch, and it could. You know, the players could feel it.
I think you're spot on in the area where you talk about a club that bottled it. It can't be the players, because the players that were there in 2010. It's therefore the fans then bring negativity and they go, oh, we've done this in 2010, oh, we've done this in 2008, oh, we've done this. The players don't know it, but all of a sudden that will be projected onto the pitch, and then all the players will then take that on. So it's a fan's responsibility.
It's our fault.
I'm saying it's a fan's responsibility to make sure that your encouragement and your passion is uplifting and not.
Okay, so interestingly, Hutchie, again, coming back to you, you were in the team, 1997, Crew Alexandra, Wembley, we were like flying, we should have been promoted, but we got to the playoff final, hot day at Wembley, Crew, 6th position, they weren't even in the races.
And we'd beat them twice that season.
Yeah.
Robbie Savage.
And we bottled it again. You were in the team. Okay, then what happened then?
I'll tell you what happened.
Okay.
Danny Murphy played the game of his life.
All right.
And we had no technical ability of how to deal with him. Prior to that game, they'd come down and watched us play. Our team talk for that game for dealing with Crew was go out, get the ball forward,
smash them,
kick them when they get it, and that was it. They played technically, and technically they just outplayed us. Yeah. They got the ball into Danny Murphy. He sat in a hole. We didn't know how to deal with it. If we just watched them play once that season, or we had some technical ability about us, we would have just gone. Someone go in, mark Danny Murphy. Everyone else, play around it and stuff, and we would have won the game.
You saved how many off the line? 2, 3. It would have been
one with that.
Juggler.
Yeah. No. I mean, it was unfortunate because prior to that, we'd gone down there, we'd kicked them off the pitch twice. We probably kicked most teams off the pitch that season twice because that was the team we was. We went out there and we worked hard and we kicked players and we let Bobby Taylor and Nicky Foster score the goals and that was it. But unfortunately that season we didn't bottle it. I wouldn't say we bottled it because we had the players there, everyone was up for it. We were throwing in tackles left, right, and centre. Unfortunately, we just didn't have the technical kind of guidance to win us the game.
And maybe we were a bit arrogant because we thought, listen, we're flying. We just go in there. We're just going to do business.
This is Crew Alexander. They pass the ball around. They're all 18, 17 years old. Kick them off the pitch and go and win the game. And that was it. And that was our attitude.
I'd like just make a point. Just similar. Think about this season, right? Let's say one of our two teams goes up automatically, and the other one finishes third. We're in the playoffs. We play sixth. We've been up there all season. Do you not think there's a bit? One of our teams. I'm not saying who. Whichever Brentford or Orient finishes third are going to be arrogant and get sixth place, and then you'll see Peterborough, you'll see Walsall, you'll see Sheffield United.
I think the onus, when it's like that, I think the onus is definitely on
teams that finish lower down. Yeah,
the teams that finish lower down. I think they're more. They've got nothing to lose. They're looking at it like, wow, we just made it. We're going to go to Wembley. This is it. This is it. We've got nothing to lose.
That's why I fear the playoffs, because assuming
that's why I don't know what the statistics are. Maybe Stato would know. Yeah. But what's the statistics of someone finishing third, just missing out on automatic promotion, and then losing in the playoffs?
I think the thing with that though is that if we did get the playoffs, we'd probably get Peterborough. Whoever we played, and I don't.
United,
I did because Pete with exactly the kind of team that will play crap and then we'll go up.
If we did get Peterborough, I wouldn't be very scared at all. I don't think they've got.
I don't think it'll be Peterborough. I think it'll be Sheffield United.
Sheffield United, I wouldn't be happy at all. But I think if we got Peterborough, because they've got quite a lot of expectations as well, probably even more than us.
Yeah, they have.
I'd be pretty happy. I'd be pretty happy to draw them because I think even then they'd be still a huge expectation. They wouldn't just be the kind of happy-go-lucky team that a team like Walsall or whoever it might be.
But it might also be the fact that if we miss out or Brentford miss out on the last day of the season, the element of deflation going into the playoffs might be a factor as well.
Oh, we've certainly had that in our away playoff at Swindon. I mean, it definitely took 90 minutes, and getting a penalty in the last minute was a huge strike of luck. But there was definitely a hangover from Doncaster in that.
Somebody could finish third with 92 points.
So, I mean,
that is going to be.
But I think what we have to get our heads round, there's an actual chance of it going to the last game of the season when nothing's decided. Do you reckon it's going to get that far?
Who have you got last game?
Stevenage at home.
Jimmy Smith. Jimmy Smith do us a favour again.
A lot of that depends whether they're safe.
Whether they're up,
whether they go.
Yeah, we got MK Dons away, so it's going to be.
Who could again be in the playoffs?
Could have.
Normally you would want any team to
I
be.
think Wolves will be up by them.
I think they'll win them.
Most likely,
we'll lose. Generally, the reason why we're doing so at the minute is our keeper, and our keeper's going after the Wolves game. We can't have
Jakupovic. Is he, Freddie? Watch this race.
Go on then, insider knowledge, tell us.
I'm not saying any more.
Well, the Masters is coming out with a bit of nod. Listen,
I asked Johnny the other day.
Your recent split, sorry, you went through 4 games where you couldn't pick up a win.
That's because
you didn't have a keeper, is that right?
We were juggling keepers.
We had this keeper on loan called Shwan Jalal, bless him, who played possibly the worst game I've ever seen. Huh?
You only have keepers that you can't spell their surnames.
Against Bristol City, he had the worst game I've ever seen a professional goalkeeper play. Now, we have seen some crap keepers down Orient.
Come on, we've seen Rachubka.
No.
We've seen Paul Rachubka.
I'm sure Paul Bristol's was worse than any of Rehoboth.
Ask any Leeds fan out there about Paul Rachubka. They'll talk you about a full
I've seen Rehoboth play blind at Griffin Park.
So what you're saying is like change of keeper.
Absolutely. I can't put into words how good this keeper is. I'm not even
the confidence he gives the back four is absolutely.
He probably let one through his legs on Saturday, but
he'll probably have a howler on Saturday now we've picked him up so much. But it's a different team, though.
Well, look, the Stato will like this. That we've not lost a game when he's played, and what happened was we took Ben Anick from Charlton for the game at Rotherham. We lost that in injury time, in that period, and then we took Jalal, who just didn't settle over those 2 games, and it was just chopping and changing such a key position. The back four lost confidence with him, and as soon as Jakupovic came back, everyone was
Anick had some
down
kind
with
of
it. Everyone understood what they had to do. The back four is playing as well now as they've played all season. So Brentford have got a very good team. There is nobody doubting. Everyone knows about the Irish Messi and Alan Judge and all the other players, great players that Brentford have got this season. Right? They have got good
we
players.
We love Alan Judge at Orient anyway.
Yeah, we do because he kept us up the other season by scoring for Notts County.
Yeah.
So we like Judge.
So interesting.
Not on Saturday.
You're talking about the love and loving for Brentford players.
Not really, but I'm saying it's a good side. We're one of the 3 best teams we played this season, even though we beat you at your place. But You know, I had,
So we got a tweet coming. Tweet your questions into @Beesoted, BWESOTTED. We got Chris Studdy who's asked the question. He said, "Look, Orient fans, are there any Bees players other than Forshaw, of course, who you would swap with your current players?"
ooh, that's a good question. That's a good
Jake
question.
Bidwell for probably Gary Sawyer.
Bidwell for Sawyer, yeah.
I think you
But
That's because I left back to well.
you swap anyone for Sawyer.
No,
He's not bad.
He played all right Tuesday, but yeah.
Well, you can't have him.
Do you have a
right?
pacey
You
right
can't
winger?
have him.
Do you have a
Bidwell
pacey
for Sawyer, yeah.
Yeah, Clay Donaldson plays on
Donaldson,
the week.
you don't-
But that said,
no.
that said, I wouldn't swap Lloyd. I wouldn't swap Lloyd
Anyone
Jones
with
for
Will.
anyone this season. I think he's been brilliant. And you look at the assists that our players have got. You know, our key players. You know, Odebayo, Joe, and Cox have got lots of assists between them. I mean, you know, they're key players. Our strikers have got goals. You know, would you swap Kevin Lisby or David Mooney? I mean, these are guys who've been around the block, who can handle pressure, who can score goals.
You got partnerships there.
Yeah, exactly. There's understanding, and you know, plus I think we've added a couple of players, both through loans.
I think that's the thing
general.
you can't underestimate is partnerships up front. You know, Wolves have seen it now. You've got Dicko and Sacco.
Yeah.
You know, they you know, although they sound like a comedy act, you know, it's Sacco shit. Yeah. You can't underestimate it. You know, you're looking back at what we have. You know, we have Bob Taylor and Nicky Forster, as Carl just said. You know, the teams that have got two prolific strikers that are scoring week in, week out. We haven't really got that. We haven't had that all season.
Well,
you know, not two players who are consistent. We thought it might be Grigg. You know, let's not go to the Grigg area tonight. But you know, we haven't got two firing strikers. And Orient have had that.
Bill Grigg, big
That's
in
what helped
Walsall.
them.
Well, we've scored goals from all over the team, and Orient never really been famous for scoring goals, and this year we scored, the most in the division, and that's because Cox, Odebayo getting forward from the wings.
The front four all have over 10 goals.
Mooney,
their
Lisby,
name.
even
You
just
Sean
put
Batt
loads of
has managed to
lies
score
down.
goals this season.
No, but
And every time he brings a player on, they seem to do something.
But this is indicative, right? We've got, Lisby, if these are true.
Yeah, these are true.
But no, our strikers work very hard for everyone else. So you can see that Lisby and Mooney have got 5 and 4 respectively in terms of assists. That's pretty good. And if you think that they've got 15 and 12 goals between them as well, that's I mean, if you look at Mooney's play, he brings so many other players into the game. And what I noticed about Tuesday is everyone is just working very well as a unit, both going forwards and going back. I mean, the amount of times like we had, Dean Cox working on his own 18-yard box to get the ball clear. I mean, people work. This team works very hard.
I think
right?
Brentford fans will admit that Leighton Orient, you've got a very, very good manager in Russell Slade, somebody who really knows the league very, very well. He knows how to really motivate the players, and you've got a terrific team spirit. No one's going to take that away from the team. You've got a terrific team. You have got a really good strike partnership, there's no doubt. You've got those extra players, to support them. Your assists, as it says in the stats, are fantastic. The question I've personally got is, do you actually have that little bit of magic that Alan Judge can produce, that Marcello Trossard can produce, that Clay Donaldson can produce? Because that front three from Brentford, they'll do something out of nothing at a moment.
I mean, I don't want to bring this up, but Dean Cox scoring from the halfway line against Walsall last season would suggest that we've got players, or even hitting one from 18, 19 yards on Tuesday night, would suggest that we've got players who can hit. I mean, Mooney scored some ridiculous goals this season against Peterborough away.
Yeah,
The
one thing I'd always say is everyone goes on about
it was a great goal.
People always go on about Orient having a great work ethic, great team spirit. They've got a hell of a lot of talent in there as well.
Yeah.
That's something people don't mention. Look at Moses Odebayo. I don't think there's a better right winger outside the Premier League. At his age, he's a fantastic player.
Still
The
really
pace
young.
and trickery he's got, the balance. Dean Cox has been doing it for 3 years now, top assists. And you've got Mooney up front, who when he first came to the club couldn't hit a barn door. Now he's playing with so much confidence because Slade has helped him grow into that role and put his arm around him. There's a lot of talent in that team and people don't appreciate that. And I think this season, because they've been underestimated, they shut a few people up, and I think that's what we're going to keep doing.
It's a bit of a cliche to say we just work hard, because I think
all teams should work hard. They should go without.
You don't get to where Brentford or Orient or where Wolves are in this league without having ability as well as the ability to work hard. Because Port Vale work hard. They work really hard, and they're very fit. But
being good.
where are they? They're still they're top 10, 9th, 10th. That will get you there. Working hard will keep you up. But it won't get you into that top 3 or 4.
Interesting, James, because you're talking about this, and you can see this angst inside you about this thing that people talk about Orient, and they've basically not taken you seriously, And you wrote a very heartfelt article for Beesoted, beesoted.co.uk. You wrote an article today which was from the heart. You talked about Gladiators, you talked about Orient, you talked about that little old Orient that you wanted to dispel because you're actually moving forward. I mean, just talk about that a little bit, because, I mean, we know a little bit about that as well. You know,
I mean, at the start of the season, when we started winning, all these games, I think we were winning 8 in a row. It wasn't until we won at Brentford that anyone actually said, "Oh, you know what? Orient can actually play football. They're actually quite good." Until then, it was a bit like, well, it's a bit of a fluke so far because they haven't played anyone any good. And then suddenly we kept winning, and then you turn around and you think, well, hang on a minute, they must be doing something right. Because when you've got players, I'm not going to keep on going about Moses Odebaji because I think he's a fantastic player. You've got players like that coming out of your youth academy, and you bring in experienced players like Kevin Lisby to coach them and look after them on the pitch and bring that into the game. Suddenly you've got a team who are fighting for each other, yes, but they've got skills. They can beat players. They can put the box.
We've got a good mix. I mean, we've got guys like...
And this complete, Orient, they're a tiny club. You look at the teams who've been in the Championship, really. Yeovil last season, Southend weren't in it not long ago, Gillingham, Scunthorpe United, Peterborough, Colchester. There's no reason why, Brentford or Orient can't go up there and hold their own whatsoever. Birmingham, so I think we need to dispel this myth. I think you're limited by your own ambitions. I think when you look at Orient and the ambition they've got is to get to the Championship. It's the best chance they're ever going to have, certainly in my lifetime. And Russell Slade's got the team plan. They've got 10 games to go. Why not?
I've got to say I am slightly. What does slightly worry me is I can actually see Orient in the Champions League this season. I can see that. But I mean, I could see that happening.
Yeah, but that's your Brentford fan angst.
No, I'm not saying. I'm not saying we're not going to do it. I could imagine that.
Yeah, but I could also see Brentford there as well. I mean, with the new ground, new stadium coming. I don't know. You guys know that better than I do. But you've got. There's a lot of building for the future going on at Brentford. There's investment going on there. I mean, no one's pretending that you guys aren't serious candidates, whether you do it this season or not, every season to be somewhere in the top, or around the top 3, right? So,
the thing about it is, I think when we didn't go up last season, we were very close. It was a penalty miss at the end. At the end of the day, is that back end of the season we had a couple of injuries and everything like that. Not saying it's the excuse, but we had a couple of injuries. We brought in a couple of players. We brought in Sean Wright Phillips and a few other players. And I think that we were so close. I mean, I don't know, but I just think that the management might have looked at saying, well, maybe if we'd probably spent just a little bit more money at the time.
Or another way of looking at it is if we were slightly less risk averse. Look at Hartlepool away. If we'd have gone for that win and won it, we would have gone.
Which is the two things. So you got that, or spend a little bit of money. Sean White Phillips cost whatever amount of money he may have cost. It's not knocking him. It might be cool, but maybe if you had a player and you'd spent an extra 5 or 10 grand, maybe they might have just said, we'll bring you in for 8 weeks. We'll give you this amount of money. We've banged us into the Championship. But now what we've had to do is that we've had to go in and then rebuild again. Make sure that focused. We need to actually do the business. So they went into this season and said, we have to go up this season. We really need to go up. So what we've done is we bought Will Grigg for 350 grand or whatever it cost. We've done this. We bought all these players to make sure that we were actually the side, because we were probably quite close. And not knocking anyone for it, because at the end of the day we were close to going up, but they just probably thought maybe if we just notched it up a little bit at the back end of the season, in retrospect, then we actually might have been there. And it's just one of those things that it's easy to talk to at the back end.
You've got to think about the realities of football in League One, though. The financial realities of League One. I don't want to see Orient risk everything and bust, because it's happened elsewhere in football. Well, Hearn has said he simply will not allow that to happen. And I absolutely support him on that, because I think we have to be realistic about our capabilities. I think what I do find quite interesting is the potential for quite a dramatic change in the London football order at the end of the season, with Fulham potentially slipping down into the Championship, Millwall and Charlton potentially coming down into League One, Brentford and Orient moving into the Championship.
So would you miss your Essex derby with Colchester if you were?
The Shell Suit derby.
I mean, the other thing, Billy.
Don't Southend and Colchester care about each other.
The other thing that we didn't touch on was the fact, it's really important that Orient do get up, because with West Ham moving to the Olympic Stadium as well, Orient need to boost that profile. So Championship football is so important if we're going to attract new fans or get crowds in. People are much more likely to come and watch us if we're playing the bigger teams like Leeds United, rather than
Do you think though, with a 9,000 stadium, with quite a you know, quite a careful owner who said he's not going to break the bank. Do you think you can? How long do you think you last in the Championship?
How long do I think we last? It really depends on Barry's ambitions, doesn't it? Because the money's there. Does he want to spend it? He's never been one to throw money in. He's always covered our losses every year. He's paid off the 800 grand at the end of each season. I don't know.
I'll be more blunt than you, James. I actually don't think. I think we lost one season.
James Blunt.
I think I honestly think we lost one season. Again, maybe I'm more of a realist, but I have my reservations about Russell Slade's tactical now. So I think he's a brilliant man manager, but I think he'll be horrendously out of his depth in the Championship. I do, and he has no plan B. He has a great plan A. He has no plan B, and I mean this. I'm genuinely serious about this. I honestly think, and I'm so impressed with his man management style. But I'm not forgetting how just awful we have been under him. You can't. People have Orient fans have a lot of them have rose-tinted spectacles, and I'm gonna. Yeah, I just think so. If we were up, I think we've got a great season. If we went up, bloody hell, we would be whipped every week. And I'd love it to not happen. I would love it to not happen.
I think if you're relying on Barry Hearn to put in the money to go into the Championship, that is definitely happening.
No.
The analogy is
But he's a very good chairman.
I think Orient, to progress, they need to get to the Championship to attract new ownership.
Yeah, I'd agree.
And I think I've watched loads of Championship football. I've seen some atrocious teams that Orient and Brentford would walk over week in, week out. I'm thinking, you know,
I
don't think Charlton, you know.
Well, Yeovil are still in with a shout of staying up.
I don't think there's any Brentford or Orient would not be out of place in the Championship. No way. They'd both be able to hold their own. I don't know about Orient so much because you do need a little bit of financial support, and if you know,
we don't spend money on players.
I think who knows, but certainly.
If you compare it to Yeovil, you know, Yeovil were the team, I suppose, like Orient, who kind of came from nowhere.
Farmers.
Well, exactly. But you know,
they weren't up at the top. We would have been on the top 2 seasons.
But I mean, they're a little town in Somerset. You know,
a little town.
They've got a Costa coffee, I'll let you know.
It's a pretty simple club.
With a large catchment
big time.
Well, a large catchment area filled with cows and pigs.
Well, all right, yeah.
Sorry, Green Giant.
So hopefully there's no Yeovil fans watching this.
I think there's much more room for expansion for, you know,
I'm not sure
particularly
if any Brentford or Orient fans.
I think Orient. You know, there's no other team of that size.
So the thing is, I'm just thinking,
I think we do a lot better than Orient.
because we're both talking about promotion here. We're talking about where we want to go, promotion. We're sort of battling out. Like Wolves are gone. We're always thinking, which I think is probably a little bit wrong. And we're battling out. But the question is, interestingly, Mark Warburton, the Brentford manager, he pinpointed 90 games. No, sorry, 90 points.
90 games?
Sorry, 90 games. Jesus Christ. We'll be here till next year.
Champions League.
90 points for Brentford to get automatic promotion, or whoever. I mean, obviously, it's already got the same thing. You've got 10 games to go, we've got 12 games to go. But that's interesting to discuss because that's 90 points, which I thought was a little bit low.
Actually, we have to say, so credit where credit's due. Who said, how many points did Doncaster go up with?
84.
84 points.
No, they won the league.
Yeah, Championship, 84 points. Yeah. We're gonna blow that. So I think that shows the benchmark of how much improved this division is this year. So we're gonna.
I think it's
I think season by season, all divisions are just getting stronger and stronger. So that benchmark is just going to go up and up and up.
But last season was a terrible League One, in my opinion. I thought it was very, very weak.
I think if Bournemouth had properly got going from the start, they would have stormed the league by 10 or 11.
Yeah, but I mean, you look at this season. I mean, you look at the teams in there. You know, and Peterborough. I'm surprised actually they've fallen away as much. I'm surprised MK Dons haven't been closer. I'm surprised Sheffield United haven't been further up there. You know, Preston, they've had a bit of a dip.
I worry about Preston.
I'm concerned about it. Rotherham have come up through. There's a lot of teams challenging up.
But 90 points. I mean, is that enough?
No.
I don't know.
92.
But Mark Warburton is not another stupid man.
No.
So he's good with his numbers.
Yes, he is.
I think he's probably 3 points wrong.
No, but this isn't. If you think I think listen, this is me because I sat down. I thought about this, and I thought 90 points.
Got the abacus out?
Yes, I've got the abacus, and I said, listen, 90 points because what he's thinking, all right, tell you something, Wolves, bosh, they've gone.
Is that what he's thinking?
He's gone.
Was he thinking Wolves gone?
Wolves gone. Wolves gone.
Is that
Bosh.
exactly what he was thinking?
Because if Wolves haven't gone, then we're back in. Then you're back in the game. Bosh. Wolves are gone. Brentford Orient. Brentford need to beat Orient on Saturday. So if we beat Orient, bosh. Right.
You're
there we
paraphrasing.
Go. Right. I'm saying so. 9 games down for Orient.
Bosh.
We're in there. 2 games ahead of them. Points.
Bosh.
Bosh. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just thinking, all of a sudden you start to see the scenario is that, you know, we got the 3 points in Orient, and all of a sudden it's like the 4 or 5 games that we need to win. It changes the picture completely. So in a way, he's almost sort of saying, we need to beat Orient, because if we beat Orient, then that means we will need 90 points to win this league. If we don't, then obviously we're going to be battling out.
You're saying that you're saying that Mark Warburton was saying that we are going to be, or that this is part of his, we're going to be Orient.
Well, obviously he's got to be positive about it.
Is this a Mourinho kind of mind game thing?
It's not even a mind game thing. He's just basically saying, look, if we're going to win this league or we're going to get promoted, we've got to beat Orient.
There's no doubt about it. Both managers will be there, and they'll have every team there. And from now to the end of the season, or probably from the beginning of the season to the end of the season, they would have marked every game that they need to win. They would have worked out every draw, every game. And if something goes wrong somewhere, they get a draw where they've marked down a win, they're going to have to adjust that board and make it so, you know, if he said it's 90 points, he's 90 points because there's a plan there that needs to happen for it to be 90 points.
You know what I'm
and
saying?
if that means winning at Orient, then that's what it means.
It's really interesting to hear it from a player's perspective, because I mean, obviously fans, there's bravado and there's kind of obviously
get the ball in there.
There's a, you know, there's a certain kind of, not a lack of understanding of what it's like to go out there. So how will the players be approaching this game on Saturday? You know, they both know they've got to win it. How do you approach it?
The feedback comes from the manager. So basically, for you to say they both know they want to win it, probably isn't true. If Brentford, if the manager on the training ground is saying, look, this is how we're going to set up, we're going to be nice and strong, he's not going to say to his team, you know, oh, we're going for the draw. But he will say, use words like, look, we're going to be strong, we're going to be a strong away unit, we're going to hold tight, we're going to, you know. And in the player's mind, straight away, you're kind of saying, look, if we win this game 1-0, we win it 1-0, but we ain't going to lose this game. You know, so depending on the words that he's using and that side of things. If he's going out saying, right, we're going to attack, you're going to get down the wing, you're going to go that way, we're going to go forward, then straight away you know you're going for the win. And that's it. So depending on how the manager's coming across.
But Mark Warburton doesn't seem to be that kind. He seems to. He's kind of. I think he will set himself up to let Orient worry about us, than we're going to worry about them. I hope that we go there for the win.
Who knows? I don't. Both managers have got their own game plan.
I don't know much about it.
What's his weakness?
What's his managerial weaknesses?
I don't really know, to be honest.
I mean, we don't. I mean,
if any.
Yeah, I mean, we collapsed a bit against Wolves, I suppose. But really, he's only had 10 games. We've won most of them. He's been like, that was the whole point of the appointment. It was a continuity appointment. So really, it's been like Ross, but maybe a bit more attacking.
I quite like the tale of the two managers. You've got sort of city trader, be school teacher.
Yeah.
None of them played the game.
He was Rosman's boss, technically.
Yeah, exactly.
He was. And also Warburton actually came in early. He actually came in. He actually went through Uwe Ross's job. He didn't get it at the time. He got the coaching job. He's been around. He's been overseeing. He's been overlooking from time and bringing all the players in. So all the players that we got, like Forshaw and all these players, he's actually brought them in. And to be fair, if you look at it, he's just been sitting there looking and learning. And maybe, just like David Weir, who went into Sheffield United straight from Everton Youth Academy, Bosch, straight in there, and again, it's another Bosch, and he's gone straight in, and they said, okay, right, we want you to get us into the Championship. And it's still early days for him, and they gave him, 10 games or something ridiculous,
I mean, you guys were saying that, about the early kickoff. You were saying about the early kickoff. I mean, is there not a risk of all this pressure, all this momentum? The players are going to be feeling that. I mean, on both sides. No one wants to lose this game. The fans don't, the players don't, right? Is there not a risk that everyone goes out there on Saturday and they just dig in? They dig in. And it ends up in
some beer-induced sleep.
Actually,
this is another good insight. Hutch, talk us through what it's like an early kickoff from a player's perspective. Because it changes the whole game, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, it changes your whole body pattern, everything. Because you're used to getting up at a certain time, you're used to having breakfast, then having a lunch before kick-off, so your body's fueled. Whereas now you're saying, for the away team, depending on whether or not they stay in a hotel the night before, are they going to be after waking up at 6:30 in the morning to get to Brentford to get the coach at 8 o'clock, which means they've been up since 6:30, the coach, and then they get stop off, then they have a little breakfast at 11 or 10:30. It's a whole different mindset. Or do they stay in a hotel the night before and all wake up, have breakfast? They're waking up at 8 o'clock, having breakfast at 8:30, 9 o'clock. So all of that depends. Me personally, I didn't like early kickoffs. There wasn't that many of them, but it just changed everything. Your whole body clock was changed. So.
And talking about early kickoffs as well, it's interesting because there was a big furore about the how many tickets we were going to get. And Brentford fans, we weren't sure, was it 3,700, was it going to be 500, whatever it's going to be. And then they debated with the fans, and then we decided to actually give us 2,700 tickets, which actually really surprised us. They flipped it down to 2,600 for security reasons, something like that. But I'm just wondering, what do Orient fans think about 2,600 Brentford fans invading their space on Saturday?
It's a financial decision. Hearn did it, and I don't blame him because it maximises our revenue. I don't. At the end of the day, yeah, it's one side. It doesn't bother me as much as everyone else seems to be.
I'm surprised,
I don't care.
I'm surprised you can only back yourself to sell about what 5,500 tickets for this game.
Don't go back to this again.
Well,
I totally agree.
If I were Barry, I'd give us.
It was like the Arsenal, they only had 1,500 because that was like...
Yeah, I don't see why Orient... I mean, it's difficult now because it's 12:15 kickoff and, you know, those are difficult to sell because people don't like going to...
And
So
it's
maybe
on
looking...
telly, right?
And it's on TV, so now looking at it, perhaps it was the wise decision. But before it was announced it was going to be on television, I was very much against it. I think it gives a huge lift to the away side, gives them a lot of momentum, and I thought it was the wrong decision. But now, financially, with it on TV, I suppose...
And plus we're doing this buyback scheme now, you know, season ticket holders, you know, get your, share it, or someone wants to take the ticket, you know. So I mean, it does make me think that the club's now thinking perhaps we gave too many tickets.
Don't want to go.
Well, no, I'm just saying that there's now an option. They're saying, well, if you can't make it, and
Yeah, because people sometimes can't make the games.
Yeah, you can't always make the games.
Just
but
in that respect, sorry, I find it amazing because I know that if we give over the little Wendy house in the over in Brook Road to the away fans, because club was turning up with big numbers and we decided to give them a bit of the new road, I reckon about 50-60% of Brentford fans would go mental.
Yeah, but it used to happen.
Mental over that.
It used to happen.
No, but
I
nowadays,
remember
absolutely no way.
And
no
we done
chance.
For Sheffield
I remember that used to happen.
But there was the...
An Orient fan could be happy giving over extra space to away fans because you want that advantage.
It's happened for ages.
But
It's
what
happened
are you
normally
gonna
when
do?
big followings come.
What are you going to do?
Well, I mean, we're going to have a third.
No, what are you going to do? I mean, you kick off, you're not be happy about it, I'm happy about it.
Yeah, but it makes for a better atmosphere in the stadium.
But it's all right, it's 2,600 Brentford,
more
not
revenue.
2,600 Millwall, so it won't be that.
I'll tell you something. I don't know if you noticed, but obviously, you know, I mean, this mutual. We got Orient fans, we've got Brentford fans here. I don't know if you noticed. There's a lot of Brentford props here. We've got props and everything like that. We've got a lot of props here for Brentford, but there's actually nothing for Orient. They've come bare.
I have LOFC gloves in my bag.
Yeah, and I feel a little bit. I feel a little bit sad for the Orient, but we did bring.
But give them a gift.
Okay, I'll give you a gift. Actually, we have got one prop for you. Actually, here we go. Here's the Orient Express. And, oh, Jesus, it's crashed. Anyway, sorry.
Did you just do that? Did you really just do that?
That is one shame.
You just lost all the 5 viewers you already had.
And he's off.
You're all right,
All those Thomas the Tank Engine fans are right in there.
That's a proper horn being. Oh, look,
It was. Oh dear, I was be searching around for that
You have to read your children's...
searching around for that all week. I was
There's a little
actually.
kid crying.
There's a little kid crying.
I know what it is. It's a Brentford bandwagon. Look.
Listen, hey, there you go. Right, you got us back. Listen, badge kissing. We cannot have a debate today.
The great Martin Rowland.
Oh, without talking
Ashley
about
Page.
What a
badge
hero.
kissing.
That free kick last season.
Well, Hero, he's something, but Hero's not.
So
Have you
come
seen
on.
that video on YouTube of
That's
all
a brilliant YouTube
that?
clip.
It's
Martin
from the wherever your home terrace is. Everyone's like, Rowland's you this, Rowland's you that. Last season, it's pings in a 30-yard free kick, and everyone goes quiet. And it's probably my top 10 favourite videos on YouTube.
Rowland. I don't know where he is.
Badge kissing.
He's Aldershot. I saw him play for
Is he?
Barnet earlier, yeah. And he was good.
Who? Bezo?
Good player.
No, Rowland's.
Oh, Rollins.
That was one of my favourite moments. That free kick. It was a strike. That was.
Badge kissing is not good.
It's a gimmick. It's a gimmick. It's like, oh.
Oh no,
It's not.
Give a
He had
kiss
a
the
brilliant
badge.
fight with.
Do you ever kiss
You
the
never
badge?
scored, did you?
Hunt.
No.
So guys, listen.
Bosh.
Listen, it's all a little bit raucous, and we're going to be winding up in the next 5 or 10 minutes or so. But I just want to say, listen, let's go around the table here. I want to know what your favourite game of the season is.
Oh.
So far.
Start with
With
Hutch.
Hutchie.
He's been to a few this year.
I know what mine is.
Well, from the ones I've seen certainly on Saturday, the 2-0, the goals in the second half was a nice performance, nice way to take the kids home.
Which one's that? Sorry?
Bradford against Bradford.
Oh, the Brentford game. Okay.
Personally, love Peterborough away. I think it was New Year's Day. It was a dawn of a new year, obviously. On a great run, we went there and we absolutely spanked their butts.
Just two for me. Peterborough away, because everyone was talking about Peterborough like they might do something, and they somehow get the idea that they're a big club. But anyway, because they've had a couple of yo-yo years in the Championship. That was nice because the goals were brilliant and there were tons of Orient. The other one has to be Brentford away, because it's not only was it a win, but it was the first time people started taking us seriously about actually maybe doing something this season. People said, well, hang on a minute, if they can win at Brentford, maybe they're half decent. And Peterborough was the other game like that, so those two were really pivotal, I think.
Those two again. I personally really like Gillingham away because we won. We were the worst we probably played all season, and very rarely do Orient have master of the daylight robbery. Like, we did not deserve to win that game at all. Marvin Bartley, who will play on Saturday, and he's actually start from a game he's alright, but he played one of the worst individual performances. Still got our equaliser. Johan Lasnot came on to score the winner, and I came out from the game thinking, how the hell do we win that? But it showed that we could grind out a win.
But a few like
and
that, yeah.
It's a few like that, I've never seen that from the Orient in 15 odd years, so that was good.
Yeah, I mean, Andy's already said Brentford away, so I'll forego that one. But I actually really enjoyed the win against MK Dons at home. On the
Franchise
day.
FC, don't mind, please.
Franchise FC on the day that Orient were remembering Laurie Cunningham.
Yes.
Yeah,
it was a lovely day. You know, all the fans turned out with the plaque and everything. And MK Dons were a decent side.
Franchise FC.
Franchise are a decent side. They had Bamford up front, and I thought Orient played really well.
We did actually.
Came behind.
And came from behind. They won the game. They gave Laurie the send off he would have been proud of. So for me, as a club, I thought that was a lovely day.
Good call.
Peterborough away was fantastic, as Dave said, but
We love to smash Peterborough.
I'll forego that. Preston away was. We went up to Preston, we won 3-0, which is a pretty difficult thing to do. They're a big, lumpy northern side.
Anyone outside London?
Which part of the UK are you going to offend next?
You're so getting killed on the Watford Gap, son.
Lynch him.
They really give you a physical battle, and the way we stood up to it.
You've got to go Rotherham now, son. Go on, Yorkshire.
I love boys with Penton there.
The way we stood up to their physical battle and went and won 3-0, that was fantastic. I was really not expecting either.
Well, I was sure no one was going to mention Gillingham away, and then Fred mentioned Gillingham away, and it was for exactly the same reasons as you. It was a smash and grab. We were diabolical in the first half. Bartley was just a total embarrassment as a footballer. And then Lassimon turned up.
He was very good against Port Vale on Tuesday, though, Bartley.
Yeah,
very good. Yeah.
And it was one of those games. And Swindon recently was another one. Just a game where we could easily have just not got a result there, but we did. And that's just the kind of thing that gives me confidence.
Colchester was a funny one too, didn't we?
Can I just quickly mention Swindon away? Swindon away because Swindon fan decided to assault our keeper, and that was one of the funniest things I've seen.
We're allowed to.
5-minute pitch.
Damn.
Can you insult Swindon? Can you please insult Swindon for me? That's why I don't have to do it.
It's like your coach is
Leicester B.
Go north now because of him.
There's just so many decent games that Brentford have played this season.
Doncaster at home.
Constantly been mentioned that was last season. I think you'll find, and I think we had an off day against you when we played you at Griffin Park.
No credit to
It's a bizarre situation, and this is when I knew that we were going to go up this season automatically. The two games around the Christmas period, Swindon and Milton Keynes Dons. I have
Franchise FC,
McDonald's FC. Sorry. It's just knowing that no matter how many goals we're going to get scored against us, we're always going to score more because we're better than everybody else, apart from Wolves.
Is this going to be recorded? Because when you choke, you are
We are going to absolutely take you to the cleaners.
Yes, this is on video. Yes, we can edit it.
What you've got on video in the last couple of minutes, your coach is getting done. Anytime you go north of the... Are you listening, Yorkshire? Are you listening, right?
And the whole Yorkshire are tuned in right now, yeah.
I'm sure.
I've got no idea what this perceived arrogance of Brentford fans come from.
No.
Mystify where it could come from.
I've always seen the clubs as being sort of similar kind of clubs from on the opposite side of London in many ways.
Superiority.
Well, yeah. So we buy your
Both
good
surrounded by
players,
bigger
and then you have them back when we've finished with them.
Yeah. What, like John Mackey?
Yes.
Go on!
Listen, right, my favourite, because I have two now apparently, is Tranmere away. Brilliant, 4-3. Got there the night before, singing all the way through the game for 400 Brentford fans, all sorts of new songs.
Uwe Rosler dance now.
Yes, right. Uwe Rosler dance now.
How camp was that?
It was brilliant.
Terrible.
That was great.
Not covered in time.
We were very happy. And obviously Peterborough. Everyone talks about Peterborough because there's something about Peterborough where we weren't bothered about Peterborough, and all of a sudden they just popped up, and to go down there and actually do them. You know, and they said, "Oh yes, we're the best, and we're going to do that." It was just absolutely fantastic. So the Peterborough on New Year's Day was a very, very good day, especially with the boat charters beforehand as well.
Yeah, it's good.
You know,
All good games start with a boat
I
trip.
remember Peterborough 16. When I was 16, we got promoted there.
You were there.
Terry
That's
Evans
right. Yeah, that's
in-
right.
in-
Well, it's
in-
interesting.
In the away,
That's right. Well, the thing is, as Hutchie actually used to stand with us on the terraces when you were at Brentford, when you were a little youth. So he used to stand up there singing our songs, and there's this little kid, like 13, 14-year-old kid, used to stand with us, like, you know, 15, 16.
And Marcus Gale with his massive
That's boots.
lunch boots.
You know, so he used to stand there. So listen, guys, we're gonna wrap this up. I think we're gonna go. Listen, we need to go around the table here, or around the bar, and we need to see if we can get a result prediction from everybody, including the meat pie.
Well, he can have two.
No. Billy, you know.
Start with
Let's
Leicester
be.
B. Prediction.
Very simple. I think, respect to Leyton Orient, they're a decent side. We will unfortunately concede one goal. But unfortunately, we're so much better than them. We're going to win 2-1.
You so joned it. You so joned it yourself.
Oh Jesus!
Yeah, it must be.
Well, we might concede one goal. We're not going to concede two. There's no way. 1-1.
Oh.
No, I won't.
2-0 Orient.
Good lad.
We like this guy.
Good
We like this
boy.
guy. Maxtone-Smith.
Loyal.
Him again.
Oh, jeez.
I mean, you've got to remember for Leyton Orient what a huge honour it is to host a club as big as Brentford.
We're honoured. Thank you.
East London.
For our entire history, we've been waiting for a team like Brentford to turn up, and we've
We're quaking in our boots.
We've been waxing the bus.
Yes.
But I'm going to go with a 4-2.
Is that euphemism?
Brentford.
Is that
4-2.
You've been waxing the bus.
Two from
for our open bus tour.
Two from Greg Berry, one from Pongo.
But obviously, we can't wait to see Brentford. Huge team. Barcelona.
Yes.
Barcelona of the lower league. Then.
Barcelona of the lower league.
That's right.
I'm going to go for 1-1 because I don't think separate them. I reckon it'll probably be David Button from a penalty, and I don't know who. Lloyd James.
I don't rate Button.
I don't rate Button.
No.
Lloyd James.
He's a dodgy keeper.
I've already done this one. I did it on the Beesoted website earlier. My fan stand. And I'm not Jonah in it, so.
No, you got. You did say 4-2 with a Mooney couple of goals.
Do you want me to take your one?
No, I'm going to go 0-0 with all the players being fast asleep.
He's changed his mind.
I'm with Hutch on this one. I think.
If they're not going to take it seriously, if they
I
haven't got the bottle to give us a prediction, then I'll be man enough to say I think Brentford will win 2-1.
Don't choke on your beard, mate, on the way out.
I'm not. I think we will win.
I'm gonna go with a draw.
Diplomatic.
I'm gonna sit on the fence, but only because I haven't really seen Leyton Orient play at all this season, and by all means their home form is very good, and Brentford they don't need to win. They don't need to win, so they can sit in, they can defend, they can be strong from away from home. And a draw is a better result for Brentford. So 1-0.
Okay, and I've gone same way as well. 1-1. You know, even though I think Wolves is going for the win, which he'd love to get, but I've gone for the draw because we need the draw. We want the draw. If we got the draw, we've still got our game plan fully intact. And I think Orient, 1 game less, they'll have 9 games or whatever it is. They'll be looking, thinking, okay, we need to start delivering. So draw will be good for us, and we can kind of relax to a certain extent. I'll be delighted hopping down to the Leighton Technical after the game.
Great, please.
With a draw, and fingers crossed.
Great,
you know?
Enjoy the game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I
absolutely.
want to thank everybody for coming in tonight. Brilliant, nice little debate. Thank you boys for coming down. You know, come on, we're shaking hands now because we may not be shaking in. That's good. But yeah, thanks for everyone for tuning in. You tune in to Beesoted at BWSOTTED, or check us out on beesoted.co.uk. Lots of articles going up.
You're always welcome to contribute an article. If you want to write something longer, send it into beesoted1992.gmail.com.
That's right. And thank you everybody. Big game. We're going to have another one of these debates coming in about a month's time. Orient, Brentford and Wolves. 3 of us all in the pot.
And there might be something extra exciting.
In the face. Thank you.
In the face?
Yes. You always have to finish it off on a sourdough, don't you?
That's all right.
Well done, boys. Right, cheers.
Right, fuck off.
Right, yeah.
Good man.
Cheers. Nice one. Yeah. It's not worth watching that.
I might try and get down there Saturday now.
Cheers, mate.
Quite reasonable. I thought I'd test the water a bit.
It's fine because you just joning it, mate. I think, like all proper